Returning on to Factor F, contributions, we get this quite a lot when we first speak to our customers. Them essentially saying, I was the one who was working, I paid for the extension during the marriage. Could you tell us a bit more about contributions as part of the Section 25 factors?
I would say that this factor is the biggest source of spending on legal fees in this area, because there will be people who will rightly say, I've been the breadwinner, I have looked after the children, I have all of our assets are down to my contributions. And let's say it is the wife in this case, that she's worked really hard, always worked, even went through illness. The husband has perhaps not worked for long periods of the marriage and not looked after the children, and might not even be seeing the children. And it can be devastating for that party to understand that the courts really won't go into it too much. That's my experience. So a party may argue unmatched contributions, but that kind of thing, I think it is really quite harsh, and it's difficult, but you need to be honest that the courts will generally say, well, the contributions were, they don't really like to go into that. I think the reason is that can be a very difficult and expensive exercise. If you think about it, how difficult must it be for a judge to go back and say, in granular detail, what happened over a 25-year marriage? So they tend to skim over this area, and you have to argue, for example, things like what's called add back. Has there been wanton dissipation of assets? And you can hear that phrase, wanton dissipation, how high that hurdle is. That one party has just been dissipating assets and not contributing. Well, it's part of the whole contributions argument. But a party could say, I always say, look, can you really evidence this? So they might say, my parents put in £100,000 of loans to the family. And I think then, that's quite a large amount of money. It might be some time ago. You probably can argue it. Or you might argue, I brought in all of the money that purchased a family home. I as a wife put in £50,000. We got a mortgage together. We got a house for £250,000. It's now worth £550,000. I made an unmatched contribution. But it is really hard. When it's a family home, the courts usually just want to split it 50-50. You'd be better in that case to get some legal advice when you buy that property and put it in a deed of trust and have some evidence about it. So contributions can be so fiercely argued, and you've got to take a view about that. Am I going to get a return on investment, or can I just let it go? It's a really complex area, I think. And then the other thing to say about contributions, and it's really important to know this, just in case anyone doesn't know this, I would hope they did, but the contributions of the homemaker are equal to the contributions of the breadwinner. And that can be a harsh thing. It may be a husband who says, I've brought all of the finances into the marriage. Wife has always stayed at home. Maybe they don't have any children. She's always stayed at home, but that was the way they ran their marriage. So the wife would say, I made contributions by being the homemaker, and that's of equal value, and there is no gender discrimination. So there's lots in contributions, there's lots to it.
Thank you so much for your time. We hope you enjoyed watching this and found it informative. If you do have any questions or you want to reach out and find out more about the work we do, then please do drop us an email at info@familylawcafe.co.uk.